God, we've had a whole year of celebrating the Con and Van Heusen centennial, and I'm pretty sure that's the first time this song has been sung. In fact, it was never even, it was written as, obviously, for the classic Sinatra drama, The Man with the Golden Arm, but not used. And that's sort of typical of what we're doing tonight. Like I say, after a whole year of Con and Van Heusen, after a whole year of, well, many, many, many years of hearing sort of the most famous Sinatra songs ever, we wanted to focus on this one very specific part of his output. Overall, when you talk about the people that contributed the most to the Great American Songbook, usually the name that's mentioned first is Fred Astaire, and rightfully so. There were more great songs written for Fred Astaire by far than any other performer. Probably Bing Crosby, Sinatra, Jolson, they're all sort of next in line, but you know, Astaire is so far out in front. Although, in saying that, I have to add that most of the great songs that Astaire introduced, they would only be known for being in those Astaire movies, great as they are. The whole idea of going back to those songs for a performer a generation later to go back to great old songs, as Sinatra did in the beginning of the 1940s, the whole music business at that point was so predicated upon newness that it was kind of a radical idea to do what Sinatra did, to go back to songs that were a generation older and revive them and keep them alive. And they've been alive ever since, and that is thanks to Frank Sinatra. And that is one of the reasons we're celebrating him here at Urban Stages tonight. And that is probably the single, as far as other singers go, that is probably the biggest part of his legacy, the fact that he kept all these songs alive and he established what we call the Great American Songbook, really. And the one aspect of his canon, of his career, that perhaps doesn't get enough attention is the fact that so many great songs were written for him, and usually in the motion pictures. That's one part of his career that he himself was less forthcoming to talk about, and he himself rarely took credit for all the great songs that were written for him, mostly by Sammy Cahn and Jimmy Van Heusen, but by a whole host of great songwriters over the years, and that's what we'll be focusing on tonight. Those songs, and you will hear a few standards, some old songs that were interpolated in his films, but by and large, it's all songs that were written directly for Sinatra. So, and a great many of them have never been sung since then. In fact, a great many of them were only sung by Sinatra once in whatever film he was working on, and then never revived by him. So you're going to hear some stuff that certainly hasn't been done on a New York stage. And we have a lot. I called all the great singers I could think of in New York, and practically all of them said yes. We have 22 songs tonight, and we're trying to bring it in by 9 o'clock. So along those lines, I'm going to shut up very quickly. They're going to come out in groups of 3, and they're going to do a full song. It won't be medleys, but we're going to keep the music progressing. So they'll keep going even while you're applauding. And then there's going to be an intermission, but it's just sort of a... Peter will come out and talk during the intermission, so it's never really going to have a total break, but we're going to keep everything moving. Hopefully, we can get in 22 songs in 2 hours. And to that end, I'm going to stop talking immediately and introduce the first block, and these are all, other than Molly's number, which is sort of a prelude, they're all in chronological order. So the first block will be 3 songs from his first 2 motion pictures, Higher and Higher, his first 2 starring films, Higher and Higher, and Step Lively. We're going to hear Nicholas King with the music stopped, Some Other Time, the Julie Stein and Sammy Cahn, Some Other Time, not the Leonard Bernstein, sung by Karen Oberlin, and then Carrie Hoffman from My Sinatra will sing I Couldn't Sleep a Wink Last Night. Ladies, and of course, Mr. Bill Zeffro at the piano. Zeffo Marx, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, gang.
Nicholas King.